Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome an author and a poet from Nigeria, Mr. Osarenagharu, Israel. Israel, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm pleased to be here.
Israel is an author, he's a poet, and he also has an interesting initiative which is called One Quote a Day. So, Israel, let's first talk about your journey as an author. First, tell me, are poets born or trained?
Okay, that depends. A poet could be born, and in another way, a poet could be trained.
Mm-hmm.
In born cases,
Mm-hmm.
poetry resides within the individual naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my case, I was gifted with it, though discovered by accidents.
Mm-hmm.
But I could paint a given situation
Right.
in tailored words or rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to downplay the fact that poets could be trained,
Mm-hmm.
because in cases, in rare occasions, poetry is read as a course in school.
Okay. So, what about your own training? Did you learn how to write, or did you just start writing one day?
I was born with it.
Okay.
I was born with it, and it's been in there.
Wonderful.
That innate quality.
Wonderful.
That innate quality has been there right from onset.
And when did you
So
start?
I just have it as a talent.
Wonderful. Fantastic talent. When did you start writing, Israel?
Okay, that was sometime in 2005.
Uh-huh.
Sometime in 2005. Like I said, it was accidental.
Yeah.
So the first encounter I had with poetry was way back 2005 on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could still remember reading through the work of Dan Quote. I think a guy called himself Dan Quote on Twitter. So I read through his work, and I was mesmerized by his work. And from that point, I started carving out niche for myself. And moreover, I also had to go through the work of quote-spirited authors or authorities in poetry like Emily Jolie, Zig Ziglar, Albert Einstein, and a couple of others. So just to mention a few. Then my interest for poetry was raised after having the opportunity to a desktop in a bank setting, because I had the opportunity to work with some banks in my country. So as at that time, I just got an offer to work there as a staff. So having access to a system gave me another platform where I can exercise my talent. So after work, I could have the system to myself. So I started dropping quotes and trying to figure out a niche for me. So I've written quite a number of published and unpublished articles. Wrote an ebook on quotes titled The Heartbeat of African Reading. So the journey so far has been
Fantastic.
interesting.
So would you like to, maybe recite one of your poems?
Okay. But most of the time I have them in quotes.
Sure.
Yeah, I have them in quotes. Like one of my quotes is.
Yeah. So you said that you would read out some of your lines.
I said, let me give you a poem on man. One of my work on man poem. Okay, the masculine being endowed with strengths, unique creature sealed in meekness, the admiration of the female gender, a balanced equation left to right. The being not defined by age, nature's signature that cannot be changed, holding the wording power, firing the date of beings affairs left to right. Oh, the pretty eyes crushed on, crush on the masculine being, the stronger feet that walks miles, far away miles of changes and success, holding and embracing in protection left to right. Honesty is bequeathed on the being, taking his walk in the path devoid of violence, seeing doors in dead end, saving his word as a thinking being left to right. The masculine debates not with the feminine. In peace, we struggled for a better world, both plants and animals.
Very nice.
That's a poem on man.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, in your opinion, what makes a good writer?
Okay. For a good writer, a good writer may not be known until your work or works get to the purview of the public. Not until your work get to the public domain, it will be difficult to say a person is a good writer. So your work speaks volumes. The ability to catch the interest of the reading audience, the impacts, the distance covered, and the level of public acceptance of your work go a length to speak your writing prowess.
Right.
So in the end, it's your work that goes to show and tell how much quality a person has as a writer. So your work is always in front of you, and it speaks for you.
Okay. And when you start to write and you want to look for a publisher, what is the process you follow in Nigeria?
Okay. As a beginner, it may not be easy to get your work published as a beginner. So my suggestion, if not all the time, when I run into beginners, is to first of all look for an expert in that field or an influencer that you can draw lessons from, draw knowledge from. Then, if you are not getting connected, just keep writing non-stop. Then, as much as possible, such a person should join a writing group or groups. Then, if you want to go a further length, you take up a paid job. For example, ghostwriting online for clients. That will go a long way as a beginner. But self-publishing is another beautiful area that a person can also venture into. Though self-publishing would also involve some funding, some finance. But if the fund is there, one would suggest self-publishing.
Right. Very good. Very good. And what is the difference between writing a novel as compared to poetry?
Okay. A book is mainly written considering images and characters. But poetry, or as a poet, it's beyond that. It's deep in painting emotions and feelings in rhythmic patterns. So the major difference is the ability for you to paint emotions and feelings of people in rhythmic nature. And then for novel, being able to draw up characters and images. These are the major difference.
Okay. So now let's move on and talk about your other initiative, which is one quote a day. Tell me a little bit about what you do here.
Okay. One quote a day. I just sat down, looked at it. I've been looking into motivations, how to motivate people, how to create fun, make people laugh in my write-up and all that, jokes, short and funny videos. I looked at it again. I said, why not have a way to communicate to the world, or let the world hear my voice on quotes as it affects different sectors or different areas of life.
Right.
So I carve out the caption one quote a day, so that with that medium, I'll be able to at least drop a good vibe, a good quote, just one in a day on my social media and see how people respond to it. So one quote a day was designed to create content that everyone resonates. In that manner, reach out to the world to achieve a better society through poetic display of inspiration that motivates. As a brand, one quote a day drops regular quotes or regular doses of daily quotes and fun that keep people and the larger society mesmerized and see how they respond to it in one way or the other. But the essence is to see how we can instill peace, to see how we can instill healthy relationship among people, and also create a pattern, a platform for animals so that people can understand that the lives of animals, plants, and what we have in our surroundings, they also matter. So this is the essence. Initiative, one quote a day.
Very interesting. And where do you get your motivation from to get so many different quotes?
Okay, motivation comes from so many sources, but I could hardly explain mine. Could hardly tell where my motivation is drawn from. But for the sake of brevity, I could tell you that I get inspiration from what people say, events, and surroundings, plant, animals, and every other thing called life. So like most of the time, I just sit down there, look at the situation. Then before I know it, look as if someone is just telling me those things in the ear. So for me not to forget, I quickly have a way to put them down. So I have them on hard copies. I have them on my social handles.
Interesting. And what has been the response to your one quote a day from your audience?
Okay, I've been able to publish an ebook, on quote titled "The Heartbeat of African Reading." I think it was uploaded on Amazon and so many other social sites. Then, like we are here now, we're having a podcast. It's as a result of the little effort that I've put into quotes and poetry. Then my work, quite a number of my work, I've also featured on national dailies in Nigeria here. Then I also had the opportunity of belonging to groups, social groups on LinkedIn, Instagram, and other social networks. Then I've been able to gain ground on social media with quite a number of followers. So this have been the level of response over time.
Wonderful. So my last question to you now, Israel, for all our viewers and listeners, what would you say are 3 lessons for budding writers?
Okay, my candid suggestion and counsel to beginners out there, that they should keep writing non-stop. You never know who is watching. Don't let anyone bring your work to a point of ridicule. Believe in yourself. Have a level of confidence in yourself. Then travel the mind. If you are tired, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. Keep moving. Don't fall off the cliff.
Wonderful. So, Israel, on that note, thank you so much for speaking to me. Thank you for sharing your amazing journey. And I'm sure my audience will really love everything that you have told them about writers and all the advice you have given. Thank you again and good luck.
My pleasure. Let's do it again. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.